We'll be happy to have you work with us for a very long time to come, I hope. Folks, I'd also like to introduce Colonel Burns Smith as our new Department of Defense liaison. He is the new, and Colonel Smith, correct me if I have gotten this wrong. I'm much better with Army terminology on these things. He is the new support group commander at the Little Rock Air Force Base, and a collateral duty for that position is to be the Department of Defense liaison to our state council. Did I get that correct, Colonel Smith?
100%. Army strong.
All right, thank you, sir. And let me just say that I feel safer flying on any Air Force bird than I do on any civilian aircraft out there. Colonel Smith, if you would please, the floor is yours for just a minute. If you'd tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. I learned to fly an Army helicopter, so I know your joy and your pain of your career. Colonel Burns Smith, been in the Air Force for about 29 years. Originally from Highland, Indiana, which is up near Chicago. Lived all over the world, so could bore you with stories about that. Background as a HA-60 pilot, so doing combat search and rescue. But now I'm in charge of 1,800 airmen on Little Rock Air Force Base. That really our job is to take care of our airmen, our families, and our retiree community, and then also outreach into the community. So unbelievably thrilled. One of the really awesome things about this job is the opportunity to be on committees and boards like this. It's eye-opening as a younger captain or airman way back in the day, not really knowing the scope of what people do outside of the military to support us and our families. It's really impressive and deeply touching. So as the liaison to you all and a member of this committee, deeply honored. And then as a father of two girls, really appreciative of the care and commitment that you all show for our families. It really means a lot. So thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Smith. We're very happy to have you with us, and I'd like to give you a warm welcome to Arkansas. Could we please reflect in the minutes that Ms. Sharp, proxy for Dr. Jones, has joined us now? And folks, we have a special guest. I'm not sure if she is with us. I'm hoping that that is her hiding behind the Arcan icon there. If not, hopefully she will join us soon. We're expecting Ms. Megan Considine, representing Partners in Promise, an advocacy organization that does work on behalf of special needs children of military families. She will be, I hope, presenting to the council here in short order. Ms. Considine, are you with us by any chance? All right, let's hope that she'll come in and we will pick up her presentation when we get to that point in our agenda. And last, certainly not the least, I want to point out that our normal secretary, Ms. Brittany Kincaid, could not be here today. She is being ably substituted by Ms. Kiara James from the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education Special Education Unit. Ms. James has taken minutes for us before on occasion when Ms. Kincaid could not be here. Ms. James, thank you for stepping up and filling that role for us. We appreciate your willingness to serve. Ladies and gentlemen, I think next up would be the approval of the agenda. And before we go to that, let me point out one change in the sequence of events that you will notice is that I've placed public comments much earlier in the agenda. I've set it to come right after approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. The thought process behind that is that it occurred to me that if any member of the public would like to speak to the council on one of the items that's on the agenda or something that we may be voting on that day, it makes more sense for that individual to be able to speak to us before we've already covered and voted on that agenda item. I had touched base with Ms. Harris Ritter to make sure that we were on safe procedural ground to do this, and she indicated that there are other organizations that commonly do this as well. So thank you, Ms. Harris Ritter, for your technical advice on that. If there is no objection to, from this point forward, having public comments earlier on the agenda, I think that it would make sense to do that. So with that in mind, is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
I so move.
All right, thank you, Ms. Harris Ritter. And is there a second?
This is Ms. Wright. I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is adopted. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, next up would be the approval of the minutes. Let me find that document and I will put it up on the screen. All right, is everyone seeing that along with me?
We
And I'll
can see
just-
it, Don.
Can everyone see it okay? Let me go ahead and just scroll through that. And let me make one point here. I see that Ms. Kincaid had indicated in the box on the right-hand side of the page there that we had 4 guests present. I think in the past we have distinguished that guests are individuals who are invited by the council to present to the council. Others who happen to be present are, call them visitors, members of the public, and we don't typically annotate those in the minutes. I would ask for leave of the council to change that as visitors instead of guests. Just continue to scroll on through here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, is there a motion concerning the minutes of our July 1st meeting?
This is Miss Wright. I'll motion to approve.
All right,
This is
thank you.
Jeremy
Ms. Wright.
Owa. I second.
Thank you, Dr. Owa. Is there any discussion? And just to clarify, that motion, Ms. Wright, is to adopt the minutes, changing that one note from guests to visitors. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good.
Yes.
Any discussion, ladies and gentlemen? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, with that one change, the minutes are adopted. Ms. James, would you please reflect in the minutes that I believe Representative Carolyn Brown, as proxy for Mr. Cozart, has joined us now. And folks, let me go ahead and open the floor to public comments. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to speak, please go ahead and raise a hand where I can see you on the screen, or enter in the chat box that you'd like to speak. Colonel Berry, please, sir.
Real quick, I want to say, hey, thank you very much. I wanted to add my congratulations to Dr. Walker. As you pointed out, Don Kamenar, Dr. Walker has been here since the beginning, along with Dr. Thurman, and the whole heart and soul of so many issues and programs that the council has worked over the years really emanate from Dr. Walker and her energy. So delighted that she's still able to be with us and in this capacity and whatever capacity she could be in. She's always great to have. I want to say congratulations to Lorena Hagenbart. We delighted to have been able to recruit her to be able to take a position on council. This was an initiative out of Act 1031, as you pointed out, that we're looking at child welfare and special needs, special education program oriented representatives. And so this really makes Arkansas's council stand out even more from all of the rest of the country. We're about ready to jump into a new academic year, and I know that there's a whole lot of flux that goes on in that process. So delighted to see this many people here for the first meeting of the academic year, and knowing that the very next event that you're going to have is the Family Forum, which is another significant thing that Arkansas does that nobody else is doing. So congratulations to everybody. It's a great year to start off with and a great crowd. So I'm very proud of everything that you all are doing on behalf of military families throughout the state. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Colonel Berry, and thank you for your support to the council. It is wonderful to have such a partner out in the community at large. Folks, I do not see Ms. Considine from Partners in Promise joining us yet. If she comes in, we'll come back and pick up her presentation, and if not, we'll invite her back to a future meeting. Let me turn to a couple of items by way of a chair's report. In fact, I've got a few things to share with you today. First of all, I've included in your packets two commissioners' memos. If anyone would like, I'll show those on the screen, but I'm hoping that you have all had an opportunity to view both of those. They were published in late July. One of those two memoranda is concerning training for district military education coordinators. The other publicizes the Purple Star School program. And in response to those, we have had a number of DMECs sign up for the training events that we've held. And we have some schools that are now working on their Purple Star school packets. So there's some success there. With regard to the training session for district military education coordinators, we have held one session per week for the last 3 weeks, with one more scheduled a week from tomorrow. And we will schedule more as needed if we have more DMECs who are appointed in the future. Those have been fairly well attended. In total, we have had about 25 people attend the 3 sessions collectively, and it's been a mixture of veteran and newly appointed DMECs. Now, on that subject of DMECs, I had indicated 2 months ago that I would have some information for you about how we stand with appointing people to fill those positions. We have, as I understand from looking at the information in the My School Info website, 53 districts and charter schools statewide that are required to appoint a district military education coordinator. Out of those 53 districts, only 8 have not reported a district military education coordinator to the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education. Now, let me point out 2 things. First of all, there's no legal requirement for them to do that. It's certainly helpful if they do, but there is no requirement that they must tell us who their DMECs are. The other point is that the fact that we do not have a DMEC registered on the DESE website does not mean that the district has not appointed someone. It simply means that they have not reported that person. So as we continue to reach out to those districts that we don't have any information on, I'm hopeful that we will shrink that number to 0 before very much more time goes by. Since our last meeting in July, we have had 1 student case reported to the state level. That involved a parent who had retired from the military some months ago and took a job as a junior ROTC instructor at a high school here in Arkansas. He had wanted his child to attend school in a 3rd district, not the district where he is teaching and not the district where their residence is. And he applied for a transfer under Arkansas School Choice. He was not able to do that, though. He did not meet the legal requirements for the Arkansas School Choice. He did not meet the 15-day window for military families, and that particular situation is not covered by the compact statute. So I believe the parent elected to enroll his child in the district where he is employed. That was not the outcome that they were hoping for, but he did indicate that he was satisfied to do that. And the last bit of information I want to share with you is that at its last meeting, the executive committee of the National MIC3 organization voted that this year's annual business meeting will not in fact be held here in Little Rock as originally planned. It will be held solely through web-based conferencing because of the pandemic. I think I had shared that information with you via email once the decision had been made. I have to admit that I'm a little bit disappointed. We have tried for 2 years now to host the annual business meeting here in Arkansas, and we have been prevented from doing that because of the pandemic. The executive committee had voted that rather than continue this for a 3rd year, we will simply move on for the 2022 business meeting to Louisiana. So unfortunately, Arkansas has missed that opportunity. I regret that, and I am grateful for the help that so many of you had offered in putting together materials and activities to host the annual business meeting. That said, we have successfully conducted the annual business meeting via web-based conferencing in the past. It is a public meeting, and I hope that all of you will be able to attend. That meeting will take place on the 4th and 5th of November. The software that is used for that, I think, is the GoToMeeting software. If you need to download that, I can help you with that, or I can get the national office to assist with that. But do please register for the meeting if you're interested and come for that. I think it will be a very interesting time. in part because the commission will make a decision on how to approach the issue of serving Guard and Reserve families. Subject to any questions, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have in the chair's report for today. Hearing none, I will turn the floor over to Ms. Wright for the vice chair's report.
Good morning, everyone. Nothing new to report. I just really quickly wanted to touch base and just speak on the behalf of Colonel Gentry and Colonel Stigler, who's the vice wing commander at Ebbing Air. You guys call it Ebbing Air here locally. Having to move this meeting virtually, I will just say they were disappointed. They are very much looking forward to meeting the council and having the opportunity to sit with the council and speak to the council in regards to the new mission set that was picked up that is anticipated to move in sometime in FY23. They're expecting the first aircraft to be on the ground here. So with that, it's the foreign sales mission set out of Singapore, primarily with the 16s and 35s. So we anticipate a great deal of change in the River Valley. So I look forward to hearing Colonel Gentry be able to speak to the council in regards to, especially as far as infrastructure and what that's going to look like with foreign families and foreign students coming in for their training here. So we anticipate to reschedule that and have that meeting on site here on our side of the state as soon as protocol allows us to do so. Thank you, Mr. Kamenar.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wright. Folks, any questions for Ms. Wright? And ladies and gentlemen, we had discussed the possibility of asking Colonel Gentry to speak to the council as a guest at that meeting, and also to bring in the superintendent of one or more of the school districts so that we can discuss with them how we can support their communities as the military mission at Ebbing expands over the next few years. And I think it might be appropriate for us to have them go ahead and speak to us at a meeting in the near future, even if that's by web-based conferencing, because certainly the clock to expand the mission at Ebbing is not going to be put on hold just because of the pandemic. Let's go then, please, to the committee reports. Dr. Walker, Awards Committee, please.
Good morning again. As Mr. Kamenar stated, we are working diligently to focus on the Purple Star, getting our counselors trained or the designees trained. And I know in our district on yesterday, our counselors were trained, and as a result, we had 2 schools to put in applications. Additionally, there will be 2 banners presented to the Jacksonville North Pulaski School District on September 13th. That's Jacksonville High School and Merle Taylor. So we are hoping to see other schools receiving banners, and a special thank you to Terry Williams for working with the Air Force Base to ensure that we have banners to present to our schools and as well as our districts who have earned the Purple Star status. I would just like to share about 3 of the awards that we have created in the event that there are new members on here and that you would like to know. We do have a DMAC award, and that's the Military Education Coordinator Award. And that's usually, when we look at those, it's between February 14th and March 31st are the submission dates for that. And then we have an individual outstanding service to families. And that's one of the ones that we're going to roll out starting September 14th. And it will go from September 14th through October 15th. So we'll be putting that out very soon. And the last one is the Arkansas State Mid-3 Council member. After concluding their service on the council, then they will be awarded, be given an award for that. And lastly, there was a meeting scheduled on August 25th for the awards committee, but as several of our awards committee members are work within school, so that was like the beginning of school. So we're going to reschedule that, and I'm hoping to have it rescheduled by the end of September. So, sir, that concludes my report for the awards committee.
All right, thank you, Dr. Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, any questions for Dr. Walker?
This is Colonel Smith. Dr. Walker, the second word you talked about, service to our I think it was families or children. Who's eligible for some of these awards? That would help me kind of understand if maybe that's something we could take a look at as well.
Okay, on that particular award is just any individual that is making a contribution to our military family in any capacity. And there's a Google survey that Mr. Kaminar and I it's actually a nomination that we'll work together to put out on our webpage so that anybody can go in and make that nomination.
Thank you. When that goes live, could you link me in just so I can make a nomination? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, any other questions for Dr. Walker? If not, then let's go to the Military Family Forum Committee. Ms. Wright, please.
Hello again. Okay, so with the Family Forum, it is quickly approaching, which is hard to believe. We are already in September. But for this year's Family Forum event, which is our second annual, we have it scheduled for 23 September, and we adjusted the time slot a little bit, and we're moving forward with a 6:30 time start time instead of 7, which we did last year. So the committee voted on that a couple of months ago, and we're just going to try to see if we can increase participation a little bit by moving the time slot to an earlier start time. We are moving forward with the virtual platforms, so much like the town hall that we had last year. The committee members are supporting this, and we each have our roles in it. So much like last year, it's a Zoom platform, so families will be able to call in and participate via Zoom, asking questions in real time through the chat room or, via voice or video call. We are hoping, and I know it's just difficult to say with, again, the protocols constantly changing and with COVID, but I know we are having an event here locally in Fort Smith here in the River Valley on 9/11. It's a commemoration, 20-year commemoration for the 9/11. But we are hoping to have a booth with materials available. I know Miss Terry is not able to support due to a conflict, but I think Miss Bergstrom and myself, we will hopefully be meeting families face to face and getting some MIC3 information out at that time. So I think also Miss Terry had planned for an event at Little Rock Air Force Base to do the same. That I believe has been postponed. So just continuing to move forward in the virtual platform, we are hopeful to get in front of military families, our soldiers, our airmen, doesn't matter the components, and getting some of this information out. But yes, with the Family Forum, again, the 23rd, scheduled at 6:30. We have a flyer that will be sent out. I will take responsibility for this. I realized this morning it had not yet been voted on to be approved. So look for that to be coming through your inboxes and via social media platforms early next week once the committee has voted and approved it. Does anybody have any questions?
I do, Miss Wright. What does the forum kind of consist of? Is this going to be in person or did you say it was virtual?
Virtual again this year. So we're hopeful to eventually be able to have in-person forums, one near Central Arkansas and then one on our side of the state here for Northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. Because we try to move from being Little Rock Air Force Base and Camp Robinson centric for so long. When you think of military in Arkansas, we think of Little Rock Air Force Base and Camp Robinson and Little Rock centric. So just trying to raise awareness of the units, military units that are across the state. And in doing so, having those booths at different events and putting a face to our council for these families and service members. So yes, again, this year it will be Zoom. Mr. Kaminar has sent that link out, but we'll make sure to send it out again along with the flyer so that everybody has access to that. And what we do basically, Mr. Kamenar will do a presentation over what our council is, what the compact is, and what the Arkansas Council is, and what we can do for military connected students in Arkansas. So we cover that basis, and then we just open the floor up for question and answers so that families who call in and have questions, we can answer them in real time, or if they prefer, we can connect with them as their schedule allows at a different time and schedule those appointments.
And on your 9/11, you said you're going to have a booth.
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Would it be possible if I send you some of the Center for Exceptional Families flyers?
Yes.
Because we work with parents with kids with special needs, and we do cover, of course, the military children at school and young adults, I should say.
Yes, ma'am. Please
Okay.
feel free to email me anything, or we can connect and offline and
Okay.
meet up, whatever you need. Yes, that'd
Okay.
be great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, Miss Andelin.
Yes, ma'am.
I talked to Jody, and even though I'm gone for the next 2 weeks, I'm meeting her on, I believe, the 9th. And I'm going to give her all of my information to put at yours in her booth.
Great.
And I've got some swag for her with some of my cards and my postcards and stuff, and some swag to pass out to the parents.
Wonderful. Very good.
No problem. And then on the 14th, we do have our deployed family dinner, and I will have the flyers and stuff out with my stuff on the 14th for
Okay, great.
information for the 23rd.
Good. So with that too, because with the family forum having to be virtual, and again, this is our second year doing it, but we try to get materials whenever we have an opportunity for those of us in support roles that we're in front of the military population often, or their families often. We try to take these materials and get them in front. So basically supplementing right now what we're not able to do in these COVID times as a forum.
When are you voting on the flyer? Because I'm going to have to email that to somebody since I'm not here, so they can print off and put in my bags.
Let's talk offline today. I'll send everybody an email here shortly, and we'll get that going.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Folks, anything else from Ms. Wright? All right, very good. Let's go on to the Outreach Committee. Ms. Cooper, please. Ms. Cooper, I think you are still muted. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Ms. Cooper, please, the floor is yours. Okay, Ms. Cooper, we're having a little bit of difficulty hearing Ms. Cooper. Is there anything you'd like to put in the chat box for us, Ms. Cooper?
You can't hear me at all.
Okay, we're hearing you a little bit better now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can.
Yes.
Okay, great. So with the change in the name, I guess we need to discuss a new logo. And so I'm looking for volunteers to join the outreach committee so that we can start developing that. So anyone who is interested in joining the outreach committee, if you would please email me and let me know that you're interested in developing that, that would be great. The last one that we had still had the old logo, and I'd like to develop something new that we could put on our social media that just has the Arkansas Council for Military Children. So I'd like some input on that. So I would like to get together and get some ideas of what you guys would like to see on that. For anyone who's interested, please contact me and let me know that you're interested in joining. The last couple meetings we had no participation. So I'd like to get some input, please.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Folks, any questions for Ms. Cooper?
I had a hard time hearing everything. I'm not sure if it's my side or
Just to summarize a little bit, Ms. Hagenbart, Ms. Cooper is asking for any volunteers who might wish to work with the outreach committee, and in particular, anyone who would like to be a part of designing a new logo to reflect the council's new name. Everyone is aware, by the way, that Act 1031 officially changed the state council's name to the Arkansas Council for Military Children. So some housekeeping items. We have some logos that we need to reinvent, a little bit of tweaking that we need to do on our Facebook, Twitter, etc. Okay, let's go on then to the Strategic Planning Committee. I think Ms. Bergstrom, again, was excused today. Ms. Wright, did you have anything on her behalf? I'm sorry, not Ms. Wright, Ms. Williams.
No, sir, nothing other than we are getting together to start really trying to push the family forum, and with the flyers and the logos, or excuse me, not logos, but the flyers and the upcoming events, trying to get that out and see where we can make some more movements towards some of the, just getting the word out and making some movement towards our upcoming events.
Okay,
That's all
thank
that
you,
we talked about last time.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Folks, any questions for the Strategic Planning Committee? And folks, I do want to thank Ms. Bergstrom in absentia. Our supply of Purple Star School banners was running very low, which is a good thing. It means that we've been very active in promoting the program, and we have had a number of schools that have been interested in achieving Purple Star School status. And Ms. Bergstrom has, I believe, stepped in and procured some more banners for us. So my thanks to her for that.
Yes, sir, she did. And I did want to say, I don't know if everybody was aware that she did put oh, I just lost the name of it, the little barcode, the Q code. I'm sorry, the Q code down at the bottom of our banners. And I'm not sure what company did that. So I cannot give credit to where credit is due. She did not share that information with me, but there is a Q code on it now, and it does go straight to the MEC3 page. And I did try it out on the last banners that we put out at Searcy last week, and it is fantastic. It goes straight to the MEC3, to the Arkansas page, and it's wonderful.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Folks, any questions? All right. If not, then our Department of Defense liaison, Colonel Smith, anything for the council, sir?
Yeah, again, I'll just pass a thanks for having me here today. I'd like to, a special shout out to Dr. Owa Don, and specifically you, John, just for coming in, educating me on the issues that our children are experiencing in this area, since I'm a little new here. Really what I'm in the process of is trying to increase my outreach to my community on the base here, and off base our military members as well, just to kind of get representation of the issues they have, and the positives that you all have done for them, and recognition of that, but then also the ways that we can support the families and the children a little bit better. So more to follow on that. I'll offer up, for the other members of the council, love to get to know some of y'all better. So I'll put some contact information, and kind of work behind the meetings. Definitely open to that, of what we can do to advance some of the causes and interests and activities, and whatever I can do to be helpful, more than willing to do it. So thanks for the time. I'll see. I know Terry already talked, but she's kind of my focal point for a lot of this. So Terry, if you have anything for the group, I know you already talked, but that's all I've got. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you, sir. Folks, questions for Colonel Smith? Okay, let's go on to a couple of old business items. We are still holding off on committee assignments other than individuals who may wish to volunteer. And in particular, if you're looking in the chat box, I think you'll see that Ms. Cooper had provided her email address for anyone who wants to volunteer to serve on the outreach committee. Please go ahead and contact her. Let me turn briefly to the state council position for the MEC3 National Guard and Reserve Task Force. We had approved that document, I think, pending a few final bits of information at our last meeting, and I am happy to be able to tell you that we made the deadline for the national organization to submit our position statement by the end of August. We beat the deadline by 1 day, submitting our statement on the 30th of August. So thank you all for your input to that. I cannot speak to how well other states may have done with submitting their input on time. But as usual, Arkansas meets the standards that are set for us and often exceeds them. Regarding new business, a couple of things that we do have on the agenda. First of all, let's talk about our council meeting schedule. With the pandemic surging again, obviously we had voted to hold today's meeting via web-based conferencing rather than in person. We may wish folks to consider doing that for the remainder of our meetings for this academic year, pending any change in the pandemic conditions. We certainly don't want to subject anyone to unnecessary risks. It would require a vote, I think, to decide to do that for our future meetings. My recommendation is that we should do so. But let me speak a little bit more specifically about our November 4th meeting. We had voted that we would hold that meeting in concert with the MIC3 annual business meeting. There are a number of breaks in the action at that meeting when we meet face to face, during which it would have been quite easy for us to get together for a brief council meeting. Now, holding that meeting via web-based conferencing will require us to change the agenda for the national meeting such that it's not really feasible for us to have the council meeting during that same time. We could decide to keep the same date and try to hold our council meeting on the early morning, maybe 8 or 9 o'clock, with the annual business meeting starting at 11 o'clock each of those days. We could choose to postpone the November meeting to a later date, or we could choose to cancel the November meeting. And let's hold off on voting on that particular meeting if we could until our next to the last agenda item. We're scheduled to vote on that anyway. But would anyone care to make a motion concerning the remainder of our meeting schedule for this academic year?
Could I just ask you to clarify?
Yeah.
For a motion on the schedule, you want the dates for?
Let me suggest, Ms. Harris-Ritter, possibly a motion that we might be looking for is to hold the remainder of our meetings for this academic year via web-based conferencing rather than in person.
Oh, I'm happy to
Okay.
make that motion. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And is there a second?
A second.
All right, thank you, Dr. Owa. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll revisit the issue of the November 4th meeting specifically here in just a moment. Our final item of new business, I've seen a rising trend nationwide from my perch as national chair of the organization in the number of special education cases that are coming across commissioners' desks. And with that in mind, I think it might be I'm very glad that we now have a council member who is firmly rooted in the special education community in Ms. Hagenbart's appointment. But I am wondering also if it might serve well if we asked the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education to appoint a liaison from the Department of Education to be our designated point of contact at DESE for any cases that come our way regarding special education needs. That would give us an individual that we can specifically point parents of special need children to. We could invite that person to attend council meetings to keep us appraised of what is happening in state and federal law regarding special education. As a liaison to the council, that individual would not have a vote, but would serve more in the role of an advisor to the council. Now, if the council members do not feel that that is necessary, certainly we do not have to go this route. And I don't want to invent work where we don't think that any is necessary. But it seems to me that it might be a good idea if we asked DESE to appoint us a special education liaison. And with that in mind, I would open it up for anyone to move that we do or do not ask DESE to appoint somebody.
Well,
Sir,
I will move, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think we need to have someone from the Department of Education.
So
I agree, and I was going to make the motion that we have them
Okay.
appoint someone.
all right, thank you. Ms. Harris Ritter has moved. Ms. Hagenbart, would you care to second that motion?
I'll second it. Yes.
All right, thank you. Moved and seconded to ask DESE to appoint a special education liaison to the council. Is there any discussion?
Sir, I would just like to say that this is absolutely fantastic, and I was excited to see it under new business. Just this week alone, if you even want to count the past 2 days, I have had nothing except special education need issues within the school districts. I have been just on the phone and working with our EFMP for 2 days now, just on 3 issues, and they are quite extensive issues. And that is something that is much needed. So I appreciate seeing this under new business.
All right, thank you, Ms. Williams. That certainly, I think, highlights the need. And folks, to be sure, when special education issues come up, so often those are governed by state or federal law. They are something that the council itself may not be able to act upon, rather than to refer the parents to a particular individual at the Department of Education. But certainly, I think it's in our interest for us to know more about what is happening in that arena, and for us to have a dedicated person at the Department of Education that we can direct parents to. Any further discussion on the issue?
Well, I just want to add that I think with this council, it's really going to help because foster parents have the same issue because of the transferring from different places. So this way, with your mission that I saw, I think it's going to go to the Department of Education, and they're going to see a need. The transferring of information from one district to the other, or however. So I'm just grateful for this.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hagenbart. Folks, any other comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Right, I think I counted enough ayes in there that the motion carries. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. I will reach out to the special education unit and make them aware of this, and ask Secretary Key to appoint someone formally to serve as liaison. Folks, one final agenda item before we consider adjournment, and that is our November 4th meeting. I'm not sure that it's feasible, as I had mentioned, for us to do that during the time frame of the annual business meeting. We may want to consider, if we want to keep November 4th as the date, we may want to look at holding that meeting earlier in the morning before the annual business meeting starts. We could hold the meeting at a different date, earlier or later. We could choose to cancel the meeting altogether. Would anyone wish to make a motion concerning what to do with our November 4th meeting so that we can open this up for some discussion?
I move that we move the November 4th meeting to a different date, and I'm open to suggestions on what that date should be.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Harris Ritter. Is there a second?
Second, Carrie
All
Schneider.
right. Thank you, Dr. Schneider. Folks, any discussion, any dates that you think would work well for our November meeting? Is anyone opposed to doing this? Well, whatever comments you have about our November meeting.
Well, I would just then move that we make it a week later on the exactly 1 week later at 10 in the morning on that the following week.
Is that
That's,
generally
That's
amenable to
Veterans Day.
everybody?
yeah, I was going to say that's
That-
Veterans Day.
That's
Yeah.
Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Well, then we won't do it that day. 2 weeks. I don't want to hit Thanksgiving. So how about 2 weeks later?
2 weeks later would be the 18th of November. So folks, we're looking at postponing our November meeting from the 4th to the 18th. Any other discussion? All right, folks. Ms. Harris-Ritter, would you care to amend your motion for a
I
specific
amend
date
it,
then?
yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
And is there a second? Dr. Schneider, you care to second again?
Yes, sir. Second.
All right, folks, thank you. Moved and seconded then that we hold our November meeting on November the 18th rather than November the 4th. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
We will meet on November the 18th, 10 o'clock a.m. via web-based conferencing instead of face-to-face or web-based conferencing or by any means on November the 4th. Folks, that is the end of the agenda. Is there anything that anyone would like to offer up for the good of the group? Information, announcements? All right. I guess we have gotten a lot done today. Would anyone care to move that we adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Ms. Harris-Ritter, I think you have made every motion we have had today, and I appreciate your doing so, because if you didn't, we might not get things done. All right. Was that Dr. Owa seconded? All right. Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? I thought not. Then we are adjourned at 10:56 a.m. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service to military kids. Thank you for taking time out for the council meeting today. New members, we are very happy to have you. I will touch base with Ms. Considine and see if we can get her in here for a future meeting. And ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay away from the pandemic. Take care of yourselves. All right. Thank you very much. And we
Thank you,
will meet
sir.
again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.
Bye. Bye.